Day. Good morning. Small Business Mornings is on the air. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. Thank you for tuning in. And what this show is doing is it's proving to be really effective. And I'd love to say, oh, it's really effective to have people make more money and look at us grow. I mean, yeah, probably. But it's turning out to be a really effective procrastination device. So for those of you about to procrastinate, I salute you. Welcome into the show. This week, the show's been growing really fast. I'm watching our little numbers, and the numbers are this big, right? They're tiny. They're little, deet, deet, deet. I'm squishing your head, tiny numbers. But they're going tick, 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 tick. So for those of you that are joining us on the Small Business Mornings adventure, this is a 30-day test. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. And please say good morning in the chat so we know that you are here, because we are scattered about across like 7 different platforms. But the unified chat that's on the screen gives us a chance to say hello. So drop in the comments, let us know that you're here. And if this is your first time watching the show, here's the whole vision. I believe that small business is lonely and hard, and don't grow it alone. That's my vision. So this show is like a daily meeting. It's like our chance to have coffee together, to kind of see how we're doing, see what's going on, say hello to each other. That's what the program is all about. It's designed for small business owners and founders everywhere. So here's what we're doing today. And it's a special interactive episode because for those of you that are in the Idea Collective, you know, on Fridays, we celebrate. We celebrate our wins on Fridays. So on this show, we're going to celebrate our wins as well. So start thinking about what your wins of the week were. I will also share our news of the day. I've got an employment report that just dropped. It's breaking news. Good morning, Sue. I've got a meme of the day, something that made me think. And then our question of the day, of course, is celebrating our wins. So say good morning in the chat once you log in, and let's get down to the beeswax. So every morning I sit down and I look at the news. And just so you know, my filter when I'm reading the news, this is me putting on my filter. My filter when I'm reading the news is, let's use Sue, for example. Why would Sue possibly care about this story? That's the vision that I use. And Sue will just use you as the example. Why would Sue possibly care? So I read all of these headlines. And this morning, one of the headlines that got through is the jobs report that just was released this morning. The economy added 187,000 new jobs, according to the data that was released today, compared to the forecast of 200,000 jobs. So 200,000 was the forecast, 187,000 were added. So what does that mean? Well, unemployment's still at 3.5%. That's pretty darn good. The consumer price index is coming down a little bit. That's pretty darn good. And there is optimism. I think optimism really means they don't know if it's going to happen or not, but there's optimism that inflation might be coming under control without going into a recession. And if you heard the show a couple of days ago, the chairman of the Fed said out loud, yeah, I don't think there's going to be a recession. They said that. That's what they said. That's what they said. That's not what she said. That's what they said. Anyway, so you can't say there's not going to be a recession, but maybe not there's going to be a recession. I don't know. But that's the report for this morning. I feel bad for the forecasters. When you hear these stories every single month, the forecasters are always wrong. They're always wrong. Let's pretend the job report was 250,000. What would they put into their thing right away? Oh, 250,000. That's much more than what the forecasters predicted. But this time it's, 187,000. That's a lot less than those dumbass forecasters thought. Forecasters, they never get it right. They're like there purposely to never get it right. I've never read the story that said they nailed it. High five, forecasters. Way to go. Amazon is back in the news, and we talked about them a couple of days ago. They are releasing Amazon clinics. Amazon is getting into telehealth. So when you're not feeling great, you can go to the Amazon and you can get your drugs. Then you can find out what's wrong with you through a telehealth meeting. But they're not in the news this morning because of their telehealth. No, they're in the news this morning because their stock price went nuts yesterday. And their stock price went nuts because they released their second quarter earnings. And their second quarter earnings, what? They released a number that they increased their sales by 11%. Their quarter two sales year over year went up 11%. And I have two thoughts about this. Amazon sales doubling or going up 11% in second quarter. Two thoughts. First thought, how in the world could we be buying more stuff from Amazon? How much more growth is there? What aren't you buying from Amazon already? Here at our house, we get everything from Amazon. We buy all the stuff. And yes, Sue, Prime Day, right? Prime Day was in there. But how could there be any more to buy? It works so well. It's so easy to use. Everyone's using it. There's still growth left. But how could there possibly be more stuff to buy from Amazon? So 11% growth, good for you. But here's the second question that I think is a little bit more thought-provoking. Where is Pepsi? Where is Pepsi? In America, when a company does well, what's the next thing that happens? They get a competitor. Who is the competitor? Who is the other giant online retailer like Amazon? It's like we have one shopping mall, and it's a big old shopping mall. Where is Pepsi to their Coke? I guess it would be Walmart.com, right? Or individual retailers. But where is the other big online retailer? I even Googled it this morning. I thought, okay, who are Amazon's competitors? And I saw like Rakuten and these other ones. I'm like, no, that's not competition. But isn't that surprising just a little bit? Because Amazon has turned into like the power company or kind of like the TSA or something. I can't think of another company that's even on the same planet as Amazon as far as being a big old online retailer. Very thought-provoking. Maybe you should launch one. Maybe you should launch one. LinkedInlady.com is going to take on Amazon. Maybe that's what it is. Wild. Okay, so coming up in a few, we're going to share our wins of the week. We would love to hear from you. What is going on in your life? What went well this week? I want you to drop into the comments one good thing that happened to you this week. Don't do it yet, but I want you to get your brain working, because if you're waking up this morning, there's a little bit of strategery here, because we share our wins because we oftentimes obsess about our failures and we can't let them go. So by switching our mentality to think about our wins, we change things up. So get ready to share your wins here in just a little bit. One more piece of news, and I need your help because I'm really dedicated to find good stuff to talk about on the show. And that means I'm reading everything. So this morning I was casually flipping through space.com as I like to do. Every day. Yes, I do read space.com every day, just for you. Yeah, London Examiner, Jakarta Post, space.com. Yes, of course, all those things, just for you. Anyway, I was casually reading this article, and it's so dumb on its premise. I laughed. The article was, how long could you survive in space without a spacesuit? And I saw the headline, and it was so ridiculous. I'm like, well, I gotta read that. How long? How long do you think? How long do you think you could survive in space without a spacesuit? Yes, not long. That's the answer. It could have been a one-sentence story. Headline, how long can you survive in space without a spacesuit? Story, not long. Story over. But it wasn't over. And because it was space.com, they went into a lot of detail, way more detail, mucho detail that I did not need. This is awesome. So I got sucked into this stupid article for your benefit. I blame you. So here's what would happen if you walked into space without a spacesuit. What do we know about space? Yes, 0 minutes, Sue. That's how long. What do we know about space? It's a vacuum. Yes. Yes, there's no oxygen. So if you knew you're standing in the spaceship and you're like, well, I'm an idiot. I'm going to go out into space without a spacesuit. Hey, here we go. I wonder how long I'll live. If you were to do that, what would be your instinctual thing to do? Right? To hold your breath. That'd be the first thing you would do before you step out into space. Don't. Like this is some life skill. Like I'm training you for the time that you're going to have to go. Anyway, don't do it. Because according to the story on my favorite daily site, space.com, if you did that, your lungs would explode because you'd fill your lungs full of oxygen and then you'd walk out into a vacuum and bad things would happen. So you can't do that. Then if you don't hold your breath and you just casually stroll out into space, what's up, space? Right? Well, you'd have about 10 to 15 seconds before you'd black out because you can go about 10 to 15 seconds without oxygen. That's about it. Good morning, Patty. Then, once you black out, you'd be exposed to negative 240 degrees in the shade or positive 250 degrees in the sun. So you'd either freeze almost instantly or boil almost instantly. And speaking of boiling, when you go into space, because of the vacuum and the heat and space, your tears and your saliva boil. What? So if you're sitting at your desk right now and you're like, my coffee isn't the perfect temperature. Right. At least your saliva isn't boiling. So it's not so bad this morning, is it? So this story could have been really easy. How long do I live in space? Not long. But it was so ridiculous. I'm like, that is so dumb. I've got to read that story. And I did it for you. That was for you. It's a Good Friday story. How about we do our meme of the day? And we're going to do our wins of the week. Start thinking about your wins of the week. And I'm seeing our comments coming in from LinkedIn, but I'm not seeing any comments coming in from Facebook. So I have I'm anticipating that our software here is screwed up once again, and we're not seeing our Facebook comments. So Facebook folks, love you to pieces, but I'm not seeing the comments from Facebook this morning. But LinkedIn crew representing strong. What's up, LinkedIn? Okay, so we're going to do our wins of the week here in just a little bit. Oh, there's Aaron. Good morning, Aaron. So let's do our meme of the day, and then we'll do our wins of the week here in just a little bit. Our meme of the day. I'm at the Starbucks. See that? I'm at the Starbucks. And I'm standing there waiting for my cappuccino because since I went to Italy, I'm a cappuccino addict now. And I can't make it at home because the at-home machines are about $10 billion. And then you got to fart around with it. No, I just go to Starbucks. So I go to Starbucks and I'm waiting for my cappuccino, which sounds really entitled. So I'm waiting for my cappuccino, flipping through space.com. And I saw this sign, no place like your third place. If you're not familiar with the phrase third place meaning you have your home, you have your work, and then you have a third place that you like to go to. So they were saying there's no place like your third place, which is the Starbucks. Many of us on this call, we have our home, and then we have our second place, which is Starbucks. So where do you like to go? Do you have a third place? Do you have a local coffee shop? Do you have a corner pub you like to go to? Do you have a golf course you like to hang out at? Do you have a third place? And I saw this sign, and the reason why it resonated with me this morning is I thought, this show is kind of like the third place. We're kind of serving as a third place for some of you that are tuning in every day because it's a place where we can talk with other entrepreneurs. We can laugh a little bit about what's going on. We can hear what's in the news and, we can take a break. We can procrastinate a little bit. We can get ourselves charged up. We can find some inspiration to take on the day. This show's kind of like your third place. So I saw that sign. I thought, that's pretty good. So whatever your third place is, love it. And if this is your third place, hi, and welcome to Small Business Mornings. I loved that sign. Had to share it. How about we do our question of the day? Question of the day is our win of the week. We need you to share your win of the week in the comments. Idea Collective members know that every Friday we do a show that we call the Friday Finish Line. Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock, HR has left the building, cocktails are encouraged, and we get on Zoom and we compare our wins of the week with one another. And it's really easy. Hey, Sue, what good happened to you? Hey, Aaron, what good happened to you? Roger, what good happened to you? And we just go through and we hear the wins of the week. Couple of things that happen when we do that. We remember the good stuff that happened to us because oftentimes we get fixated on the bad stuff. We also see people tuning in that had really terrible weeks. If your week wasn't really good, you just feel like you're not really good at life. You feel like you're not on the right track. You feel like something's bad or wrong. When you tune into the Friday Finish Line, you get a chance to hear other people winning and you get reminded, hey, maybe I can win too. So there's a lot of science that I'm making up, but there's a lot of science behind sharing your wins of the week. So I want you to share what's the best thing that happened this week in the comments because I want to hear from you what your wins are. And if you're walking the dog or you're hearing this on the podcast replay, no worries. Just think through this process of what is the best thing that happened to me this week. I'll share my wins of the week just so you know what's up. So we needed to cancel the Small Business Rebellion, and that was last Friday. Feels like it was a year ago. It was last Friday. But I got some great support and collaboration from our guests and our speakers and our sponsors. So when I turned to them and said, hey, the rebellion's not going to happen, almost universally, everyone said, cool, what's next? Everyone was so fantastic about it. They're fired up for the November conference, the Idea Collective Small Business Conference in November. So thank you to our speakers and our sponsors. We've got a couple of folks sharing their wins. Yay, Patty. My husband came into my office this week for a few hours and helped me with paperwork that I've been buried by. That's a good husband. Aaron shares started meeting with Coaches Culmination. Amazing group. Shout out Ariel. And Sue Gresham, not work related, but was on a bucket list vacation. Oh, heck yeah. Yellowstone, Mount Rushmore, such an amazing part of the country. Good for you, Sue. That's awesome. And if you're just joining us, we're sharing our wins of the week. Drop them in the comments so that way we can celebrate with you here on Small Business Mornings. The other thing that happened this week, one of the other things, we sold out the Savannah Bananas fundraiser event that we're doing for the Islands of Brilliance. And we set up our Idea Slamathon for August 30th. I'll tell you more about that here in just a minute. Two other things. I had a great VIP coaching meeting this week. So I lead VIP meetings for masterminds. We met with those folks yesterday. And we did 5 episodes of this show, living up to my promise that I'm going to do this show for 30 days. And then we'll see if we have a thing here or not. So we had some great conversations on Small Business Mornings, and the momentum and the feedback has been really great. So thank you so much for tuning in and for letting us know what you like and what you don't like. And then Nikki, whoa, holy cow, Nikki started a second business with her husband. Yowza. Go with your bad self. What is it? Nikki, you need to tell us about this. I want to hear all about it. If you got time, click that code and join us. And again, we have a no camera call-in policy on this show. So if Nikki, you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for the camera, don't worry about it. We just want you to call in and talk to us if you'd like to share. And that was, I don't have any hair, but you know what I'm saying. So if you want to join us, click that link and let us know. Okay, 2 reminders before we get out of here today. First reminder is the show is podcast now. So if you're busy, you're running around, and you don't have time to talk to us, no big deal. You can join us when it's convenient for you by clicking the QR code and getting the podcast feed in your phone or wherever you get your podcasts. So this is something that we're playing with to see if we can drive a connection with folks when they're available. We did a poll earlier this week. Turns out that people listen to the show while they're doing the dishes and walking the dog or exercising. So if you're exercising right now, I want to talk directly to you. If you're exercising at this moment, Come on, you got more than that. Quit complaining. Go faster. There. That's your little motivation for exercise. And Nikki shares it's a home repair and remodeling company. Awesome. Congratulations to you both. That's really exciting. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to share. We're podcast. But here's the second thing that I want to share. This is exciting. We have launched our Idea Slamathon. Here's the idea. We're doing a fundraiser for the Islands of Brilliance. We sold it out with the Savannah Bananas. That's over here. But we want to raise even more money for the Islands of Brilliance. So we're going to do an Idea Slamathon. The Idea Slamathon is going to be Wednesday, August 30th at 9 a.m. Small Business Mornings will come on the air. We will start doing 15-minute Idea Slam segments. We will continue doing 15-minute Idea Slam segments until 1, I pass out, or 2, the donations stop. I've done stuff like this before, and I have one little angel on my shoulder saying, oh yeah, I bet you'll do like maybe 90 minutes of Idea Slamming. And then over here on this shoulder is the devil saying, you're going to be on for 5 days. I don't know who to listen to, but I do know that if you click that code and you make a $50 donation, you can reserve a spot in the Idea Slamathon. Now, we're starting very conservatively. We're only doing 9, 9:15, and 9:30, only 3 slots to get ourselves started. But the one and only amazing Susie Moon is paying attention. So when those 3 fill, we're going to add more. And we're going to continue adding more. And when you click the link, you get to reserve what time you get to call in. And when you call in, here's what you do. You bring in a challenge, something in your business you'd like to grow. You bring in an opportunity, something you'd like to do better, bigger, better, faster, more. You call in and you tell me about your new business, Nikki, and tell us about how you're helping people. It could be a conversation about your business. But when you're on the air, we get to talk about your challenge or opportunity, and everyone in the comments gets a chance to support you as well. That's what an Idea Slam is all about. So I'm curious, part of me is really curious. How long will this go? How much money will we raise for Islands of Brilliance? If you want to be a part of it, click the link, get yourself on the list. And I know who some of you are, Jennifer Buchholz, Susie Moon. I know who some of you are. You're going to take great pleasure in watching me go for a few hours and I start getting loopy and exhausted. Like you almost want to see this go on for a while because you'd like to see what the hell would happen to me. It could be quite the adventure for sure. And yes, Susie, you better block off your calendar for that morning because it is going to be an absolute riot. So the Idea Slam is open. Click the link to reserve your spot, and we will continue to add spots and continue to add people for the Islands of Brilliance fundraiser. Mark your calendar for August 30th, because this is a show that I'm going to regret and you're not going to want to miss. Okay, Small Business Mornings, the end of another week. This is test week number 2. We're doing 4 weeks of this show, and then we're going to look up and take a breath and be like, okay, do we have a thing here or not? Is this a third place for small business owners as they start their workday? We'll find out. I'm Pat Miller, the Idea Coach. It is so great to see you this morning. Thank you in advance for supporting the Islands of Brilliance fundraiser. And I will be back here Monday morning, 9 a.m. to kick off your work week with Small Business